Stipe versus Ngannou. Okay, so we both know, we've seen the first fight. We saw he had a blueprint to beat Ngannou. I don't think how Stipe fought Ngannou and how Ngannou lost that fight, I don't think Ngannou can improve enough to win aside from knocking out Stipe. I think it's always going to be a fight where we have the better fighter fighting a guy who could possibly beat the better fighter, who's not the better fighter. And I think that's always going to be the case with Ngannou and the really top echelon of fighters, because Ngannou's never going to outwork and out-technique and out-cardio and perform guys like Stipe, but he can knock him out, and he can knock out anyone. So what is your take on this next fight coming up? And now that Stipe already found the blueprint and beat him before, do you think it's going to be any different? What's going to make this fight interesting, and how can it go any other way than the first time?
The only way it can go any different than the first time is if Stipe can't, take him down like he's going to go do right away. He's the greatest heavyweight of all time for a reason, and he's a professional through and through. He's going to do his due diligence. His coaches are good. They're going to do everything they need to do to get him to work on his takedowns and keep him on track. They did it the first time. He stood with him. He almost got taken out. He reverted right back to his wrestling roots. He's not going to make the mistake this time to do that. So he's going to go to his wrestling game, his clinch, take him down type thing. Because if he doesn't, I'm sorry, he's getting his lights put out. So he's going to have to take Ngannou down. And hopefully Ngannou has learned enough since the first time to be able to get up, and survive, the ground game. Because if he hasn't, it's going to be the same as like last time.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And I think when you watch that first fight, it was I mean, if you ever gain respect for someone like Stipe or want to gain respect for Stipe, watch that fight. I mean, the way he fought Ngannou was just a perfect game plan. I mean, from the holding him against the cage and just leaving his weight on him and grinding him out because he saw that he was losing cardio, to the movement, to the takedowns. Like, it was just, I mean, he's super smart. His IQ is incredible. His power still, even though he's smaller, is incredible. His movement, his technique is incredible. And again, unless Ngannou can hit him, and he took a lot of punches from Ngannou in that fight, and unless Ngannou can hit him harder and land better, I don't see it going any different than it did the first time. In fact, maybe even Stipe could finish him on the ground or maybe a TKO or something when he gets tired.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to get Ngannou tired. Otherwise, I mean, hey, it's a fight. I mean, anything can happen, But obviously, if Stipe sticks to his wrestling game and Ngannou can't stop it, it's Stipe's fight. But if Ngannou can stop the takedown attempts and keep it standing more, then I favor Ngannou. So it's one of those things. I don't know who's going to win. I just know that scenario. Outside of a good power shot from each one of these guys, that's the way I see it going.
And let me ask you this, just on because we don't know who's going to win this fight, but we have a good assumption. Do you think Jon Jones is going to play any kind of factor in the heavyweight division? I mean, whoever wins this fight, do you think Jon Jones has what it takes to beat either one of these guys? I mean, we obviously know Ngannou is going to land on Jon Jones. Can Jon Jones take those punches like Stipe did? And then can he outwork someone like Stipe at that level as a heavyweight? And Stipe does punch hard as well, and everything I just said. Does he have? Do you think he's going to have any impact at all in the heavyweight division, or is it going to be like Adesanya?
Nope. I believe he's going to have a big impact. I believe he's going to do it right. He's been doing it right. You watch him, you watch what he's doing. He's big now. He's no light heavyweight anymore. He's a legit heavyweight. I believe Jon Jones is going to come out there, and I'm not going to be shocked at all if he wins at his first try at heavyweight. If he wins the title, I'm sorry. Yep. This guy is like GSP in the way he calculates everything. He looks at everything. He plans it right. He doesn't do anything without knowing he can compete and be the best at that division. And I believe that Jon Jones believes he's the heir apparent to the heavyweight division. And I believe he's doing everything in his power to make it happen. And I'm not going to be shocked if it happens at all. Not at all.
I agree with you in his prime. And the thing that plays into my head the most is Khabib, when he said that a fighter can only have one prime. He can never come back and have another prime. He can still come back and fight and do whatever, but you only have one prime. I don't know if Jon is still in his prime. I think he's post-prime, and I keep playing these fights in my head where he's had struggles to win at 205. I'm talking about he had a tough fight with many guys. I mean, the list can go on, but definitely Santos and Reyes and Gustafsson and these guys where he's had tough fights at 205, and now he's going into heavyweight. That has to, if it was like he just blew through everyone and never had, like a Habib type who just never had trouble, or a GSP type who was on like a crazy win streak, 12-fight win streak before he went into middleweight, I think he would have what you said, an easy way to win the title. The fact that he struggled at 205 against some of the 205 fighters that even after they fought Jon Jones didn't do good and have been losing as of late, so they're not even powerhouse fighters either, that makes me kind of question if he's going to have any kind of success at heavyweight.
It's all on motivation, to me.
Yeah.
I look at like how motivated was he to train for this person? How motivated was he to train for that person? I know when he fought DC, he was the most motivated Jon Jones we could get, and we got that Jon Jones. The motivation, was it the same Jon Jones with all the other guys? I don't know. Only Jon Jones could tell you that. But I know he was motivated to fight DC. He had a point to prove. And I believe in the heavyweight division, it's the same. He's got huge motivation. He's got a point to prove. And I believe don't sell him short, man. Yeah. That guy doesn't do anything without knowing he could win. If he didn't think he could win, he wouldn't even step in there. Don't you remember the one time when he had that one bout that got canceled? I think it was Belfort or something like that. And he was preparing for Belfort, and then Chael come in, and he's going to fight him. He declined the fight. He declined the fight on short notice because he didn't prepare for that type of wrestler.
Oh, wow.
So that's the type of person that Jones is. He's not going to sacrifice nothing unless he knows he can absolutely, positively win. And that's what this guy's going to do. He doesn't like to lose. He does everything he needs to do to win. Regardless of what he has to do, he'll do it. And that's the kind of person you're dealing with right there, in my opinion. So that's why I never count him out, and that's why I'm not counting him out. And I don't believe he's that old. I don't know. Is he 33, 34, maybe 35? I don't know how old he is, but he's not that old.
No, he's not. He's definitely not old, for sure. I just know he's getting kind of older, and he had to sit out a little bit of his prime because of issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, Miocic's 37, He's not older than that. And Miocic, look at him. He's a specimen, he's incredible.
But he hasn't had too many struggles. Yeah. I mean, he's been caught by DC and laid out, which I think is amazing for DC to have a great win like that over such a great heavyweight. But he hasn't really had the struggles that Jon Jones has had. That's the difference. But I'm going to agree with you and say that Jon Jones, we used to say AK all the time when we'd fight fighters and we were coming up that were undefeated. It's a tough fight because the fighter doesn't know how to lose. And for people that don't understand, when you lose a fight and understand that it's okay, and this is the worst thing that happens to a fighter. When you lose, it's devastating, but then in time you realize it's okay. You pick yourself back up and you move on. And some fighters still don't want to lose, and it's death to them. But to some fighters, it's okay. So when you get out there and it gets tough and things get, kind of in a bad situation, you kind of give up a little bit because you're like, I've lost before. So I agree with you in the fact that Jon Jones hasn't lost and he doesn't know how to lose. He always finds a way to win, and you are 100%. He prepares, and he's very smart, and he's very calculated. I'm just more worried, I guess, about just the time off, the struggles that he's had, and just where his body is and stuff like that more than himself. I'm not trying to knock Jon Jones and his IQ and his fighting abilities and techniques for sure. He's definitely outstanding in that regard.
His IQ, fight IQ is off the charts, bro.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
His preparation, taking care of his body, off the charts. This guy does it right. No, I'm sorry, but anybody that discounts him, you're fooling yourself, man. This guy is never lost legit for a reason.
Yeah.
He's, sure, he's lost a lot of rounds. Some have been very close, and some may be questionable and this and that. But the guy keeps winning. Yeah. Guy keeps winning. So, say whatever you want. That guy knows how to win, and he didn't just jump into heavyweight. He gradually brought his weight up. So that's why I don't discount him at all.